The purpose of this speech is to give the audience an understanding of what children during the Holocaust went through, who Hitler was, and what the Holocaust was. The Holocaust was one of the 20th century's greatest tragedies that left a mark of tragic and horror to all Jews. The tragedy began on January 30th, 1933, and ended on May 8th, 1945, when the war in Europe ended. Millions of people died during the Holocaust. Some were killed by machine guns, gas chambers, while others died due to starvation, abuse, and diseases. Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany, was a heartless and uncaring man. When Hitler's father died, Hitler dropped out of school at an early age because he lost his strong influence in keeping him in school. His mother supported him with this idea. Hitler loved and showed so much companionship to his mother more than to his father. When she died in 1907, her death affected him far more deeply than the death of his father. He carried her picture wherever he went, and it is claimed that he had the photo in his hand when he died in 1944. Hitler and the Nazis were the masterminds of the Holocaust. Hitler had so much arrogance in him, he hated and envied the Jews. He described them as evil and cowardly, and Germans as hardworking, courageous, and honest. He blamed the Jews for Germany's defeat in World War I. He brainwashed the Germans into hating them. He believed that the German race was better than any other race, and that Germans deserved to live. Blonde hair and blue eyes was also the master race to Hitler, even though he had dark hair and dark eyes. Hitler wanted to kill all of the imperfect people who were non-German. Some of the victims were the Jews and people with physical and mental disabilities and homosexuals. These victims were selected simply because they were disliked by Hitler and other Germans. German Jews weren't allowed to go to theaters, swimming pools, and resorts. They were forced to wear a Star of David badge wherever they went to indicate that they were Jewish. On the night of November 9, 1938, gangs of Nazi officers barged on the streets of Germany and attacked the Jews. Thousands of synagogues, Jewish businesses, and homes were destroyed. Many Jews were tortured, sent to concentration camps, and many were killed. November 10, 1938 was the beginning of the Holocaust. All Jews, Gypsies, and many others were taken to the concentration camps. Men and women were separated. The Holocaust claimed the lives of approximately 6 million Jewish men, women, and children. There were about 1.6 million Jewish children, ranging from infants to teens, living in Europe at the start of World War II. Of these, only about 11% survived the war. Some left their homes to seek safety in other countries. The innocent world of Jewish children living in Germany changed when the Nazis came to power in 1933. Many parents chose to hide their children in order to save them. Hiding a child was much less difficult than hiding an adult. Unlike adults, children were not required to carry any form of identification, although they could easily fit in with non-Jewish children who became orphans. Most arrangements to hide these children were made through personal contacts. Some non-Jews even risked their lives in order to save the lives of Jewish children. Hiding places for Jewish children included convents, boarding schools, and orphanages. These places were often located far from the children's homes. Being sent to these hiding places was a horrible experience for children, but they were aware that they were in danger and leaving their families and homes could possibly save their lives. Jewish children who lived in hiding generally were treated well by their rescuers. Not all children had the same experience. It has been conducted in the Netherlands that the estimate is that more than 80% of the hidden children were treated well by their rescuers, while 15% were occasionally mistreated and 5% were treated badly. Those who were more visible had to give up their Jewish identities by changing their names and changing their religion. Thousands of Jewish children survived the Holocaust because they were protected by people and institutions of other faiths. Dozens of Catholic convents in Germany took in Jewish children. Catholics hid hundreds of children in their homes, schools, and orphanages. Children quickly learned to master the prayers and rituals of other adopted religions in order to keep their Jewish identity hidden from even their closest friends. Many Jewish children were baptized into Christianity with or without the consent of their parents. Children hiding with their families were cut off from the world, sometimes for years, but most of them spent their childhood with strangers. The families keeping them often worried that the Germans would discover that they were hiding Jews or that a doubtful neighbor could suspect the children's true identities and turn the families and the Jewish children over to the Nazis. A great concern of hidden children was that their true families would not survive the war. and even if they did survive, they may not be able to find and reunite with their parents. Since many children were taken in by complete strangers, it was very possible that these children would never see their parents or siblings again. The worst memories for children was that their separation from parents, grandparents, and siblings. In France, Children's Aid Society was able to hide children, but not their parents. Separation messed with both parents and children's minds. Each feared for the other's safety and was weak to do anything about it. A child and parent often had to keep their emotions in silence so it did not affect the safety of the other. For many hidden children, the separation became permanent.